Boy tapped their tune as chart bound, and once again, he nailed it. Like I told you a little while ago, their second single, Raven's Tears, broke into the top 50, and it is hot. So I want you to get up close and personal with the band Wolves of Tomorrow before you are hearing them every week here on Real Rock Nights. I have Tony with me from the band. How are you today, my friend?
Doing great, man. It's a great day, and thank you for having me here.
Well, thank you very, very much for being here. And man, I love this, man. This music is so good, and I get to share it with the world for the most part, man.
Really,
Uh,
I got a buzz from that.
you guys are out of Long Beach, is that right?
Primarily, yeah, L.A., Long Beach, yeah,
Okay, all right. Now, all of the members, for the most part, are in the same area.
yeah. We're all in L.A., yeah,
Okay. All right. This is the place where I usually expound on the information of the artist or band that's already online,
right.
but I'm going to do it a different way this time because this is a relatively new project, isn't it?
Yes, it's a new thing for my brother Chris, the drummer, and Joe, the singer. As far as we've played together off and on for over 10 years in different things, and have done stuff in the past. But this is a brand new animal, brand new thing for us. Working with the producer Rob Hill was like a dream come true kind of thing for us. So that's kind of why it's a new thing. So it is technically a new band, yes.
Now, this is stuff I love because I get to learn right along with my listeners about like the band and the artists that make up this band. And I found some stuff that touched on a couple of members, but we're going to get down to the brass tacks.
Cool.
Okay. Who would you say was the magnet that drew you guys together? Or was it kind of one of those deals that it hit everyone at the same time?
Well, for this situation, we're in Wolves of Tomorrow. Chris and I, my brother and I have been playing all our lives together. So we were going to get, we had some songs. Joe is able to do music again because he's got some hearing loss issues, and he was able to kind of get back into it. So we
Okay.
did that, and we started writing stuff and reworking old songs and that kind of thing. Played a couple of shows as a four piece, and went really well. We had a lot of fun, and then we had the opportunity to go and we could go record some songs, and we just started really getting into that whole process of let's write the best we can. Let's do what we can do. Let's just let's have at it and go for it. So I can't say that anybody was a catalyst other than Joe being able to do this again made it happen.
Now that's the this is the third time I've heard of an artist and right here on the show and talked to somebody who uh had hearing damage and actually worked their way back from it. Now, how did he come back from that? Do you
Well,
know?
I mean, I have, secondhand information, let's say, right? So
Yes.
my observation is basically uh, he got with the right doctors and they got him the right hearing aids, and it got him to the point where he could, go to work, do his 9 to 5 thing and all that. And then it was able to, we tried it out. Just can you do this? We would play in the rehearsal room and all that, and it was working out. Okay, cool. And what was inspiring for him was knowing that in the recording studio, it's a lot easier to deal with.
Yes.
So recording songs was, he was very inspired by that because we all love to do that process. So
And what is it that actually makes it easier in the studio?
he has complete control from the producer, engineer, whoever to hear what he needs to hear.
Oh,
It's like if you have in ears, you have complete control when you're playing live.
okay.
So, and with his hearing aids, he has complete control of pretty much, having a normal functioning ability of auditory, like the most of the rest of us do. So that was really appealing to him.
Okay. So all around is basically having those in ears and everything fed to him like as he needs it. And that is the way. So it's all with the hearing aids for the most part that are like helping him out. Just
Yes.
like, okay. All right, cool. I just want to get that out of the way, man. Now, you guys have a soulful, bluesy kind of, I don't know, sense of melody, rhythm, kind of it conveys real passion. Now, where does that come from? Where do you pull from or draw?
Uh, I would say that, Joe's a very soul inspired, Stax Records and R&B and that's, old blues guys. He's heavily influenced by that stuff. A lot of the contemporary singer songwriters. So he brings that in his essence. My brother and I, we were raised on jazz. My mom was a huge jazz freak. We got all of her albums and stuff, and we always loved that music as well. So it's that thing where, for this, it was like I'm going to play a piece of chords or a riff or whatever, and or take a horn part and play it on the guitar in a sense, and find that vibe that works for us and his voice, and that's kind of how that we go with that as far as the initial stages of writing. Now, the producer took those things and just like, I mean, dial it into the 100th degree. Like he just honed in on what was there as a, let's say, raw thing and made it like what you hear. So
Now, was it you said he honed in and he pulled out what was the best performance that he could get from you guys? And was that something that was he one of those guys that can hear things right away,
yeah,
or did he have
like
to work at it?
no, he's a like an Obi-Wan Mozart. I don't know, man, genius freak guy. I mean, it's pretty tricky because I've never. I mean, I've known people who have those kind of like otherworldly talents or abilities in some level of whatever, and he's definitely one of those people who, could hear whatever it was and then like just dial it in like perfect to where it
Yeah.
needed. And that's why the experience was so gratifying because when we were hearing what he was doing with what we had given him, my brother and I were, we were all happy because we're hearing the stuff we wanted to hear. And, we have our own limitations to things, so that's fine. But he was, I mean, it was just great. And what he did with Joe was just, he got the best out of Joe and helped Joe define and refine and tune into what Joe does. It's pretty
Now,
cool.
with you saying that uh oh, how do I say this? I guess the way you were talking was that he was hearing pretty much the same thing that you and Joe were hearing in your music, and he was pulling out what you wanted to sound like.
Yeah, I would say that's true to whatever extent, but it's also that he would hear things that we don't,
Okay.
and he would take that and bring it to the song. Each song had its own life to it, own animal, uh, and he would find that, and he would make it happen, and then we would just follow him with that. I mean, I I don't know how to really explain it without it sounding kind of weird or something, but it's like you got a recipe, and it's a good recipe. He made it a great recipe.
Okay.
Took whatever was there that was really cool, and he just, all of his decades of experience and his whatever insanely genius guy that he is, would be able to go, okay, this is what's supposed to be there. And that was the trust we had with him. Like, that's a big deal when you work with someone in that set. You're taking stuff that's part of you, is personal and all that, kind of part of your soul, but you trust this person will do what's needed or what's the right thing to do with it. And he did that.
That's awesome, man. Just uh I don't know, it always blows my mind when I hear people that can do that. Just like take something good and they know that it could be great if they just add these little elements to it. And I think your recipe
Or
analogy
huge
is
elements to
awesome.
it. I mean, whatever it was. I mean, as far as this individual Rob goes, I mean, you know, it's hard to put into words. So I took lessons from Randy Rhodes when I was younger, right?
Okay.
And he's one of those people that, is in another plane of existence, just completely, right? On all levels, personally, talent wise. And Rob's like that in that context of like, okay, here's this individual that's just on another plane, and he'll hear the stuff that nobody else is going to hear that needs to be there. And it's a trip because it's like we watch them do this stuff. We're like, where's he? You know, okay,
Pulling shit out of thin air.
or out of his creative genius mind, fuck, whatever the hell it is, you know. And it's just like, so it was,
So,
that's a pretty, it's a pretty. I mean, we're all pretty, just I don't know how to put it into words, like other than saying we're really stoked and grateful or happy or whatever, whatever verbiage you want to use. But we've never done anything like this. I mean, we've done cool shit in the past and we've had a lot of fun with it. We've never had an experience like this. So we're all just like, okay, cool.
just kind of blown away. That's and you took guitar lessons from Randy Rhoads. How did that happen?
Well, it was just, at that time frame, growing up at that time and being where I was at that time, like Glendale and whatever, North Hollywood, it was something that was going on in, my age group or whatever you want to call it, where I had a teacher for a couple of years at a really good one at a Charles Music in Glendale. And then I heard that, you could get lessons from Randy Rhoads. And I'm like, oh, I want to go get lessons from Randy Rhoads, And this is before anybody knew who he was. But to those of us there already knew that he was like this,
Yeah, guitar
otherworldly,
virtuoso kind of.
whatever. Right. And so I started taking lessons from him. And, real quickly on that experience, it's like I've met a lot of people in my life from all walks of life. And he's one of the few that had insane presence. Like, you meet people who have some kind of presence and all that's fine. But I haven't met many people, very few, who have this thing that just emanates out of them.
Okay.
And that was kind of intimidating at first, because it's pretty intense. But he was, also like the Buddhist monk. Like I've had my own ego issues in the past, and I've met tons of people who have them for whatever reasons. And he had none of that, like literally none of that. And he loved being a teacher. So, it was always very individualized. It wasn't like, some karate class at a strip mall where you get to white belt and a green stripe and a green belt and the yellow belt and, whatever. That I'm not bagging on that. Just that
Yeah.
martial arts to me is a whole different thing. So it was very personalized. He figured out you could hone into you where your strengths and weaknesses are and help you develop you. Because he was always about, I mean, he's going to teach you the basic stuff that you need to know, whatever that is, for whatever level you're at. But he was always about you developing your own style, your own essence of a player, which is a great thing to get from a teacher.
That's why. And at what age was that? What are we looking at?
High school, 10th grade,
Just
11th grade, I think.
okay.
An example would be like this. I went and saw Gimme Shelter with my dad at one of those midnight movie things. And I came in the next lesson and I'm like, doing some jumping jack flash thing that I watched Keith do and whatever. Because I've always had a pretty good ear and I could visualize and hear. And he
Okay.
laughed and he said, that's what he was playing when he was in high school. He showed me the Ya-Ya's album. And I don't know that people would even think that Randy Rhoads would know what the Ya-Ya's album is because he's just like classically, virtuoso freak. But
Yeah.
he was laughing at that. And he showed me pretty much that whole album, like the Randy versions, which were,
Oh,
one of the few regrets I have in life is I did not record our lessons. I have friends who did that. I didn't. And I mean, I would always love to go, listen, this is what I'm talking about. You could hear what he did with like Live With Me or Sympathy or whatever, and just like, holy, what?
like one of those guys that could just hear shit in the music and I don't know, add to it is goes back to your recipe analogy with what your producer is doing with you in the studio. Just
And that's
adding those ingredients.
right. And it's like, like anything, some things need to go and something needs to be added. And it's the same thing with anything when you're writing. It's like the note selection, and we have 12 notes, you maybe use 7, probably 4, and then you embellish that into chords and whatever progressions. That's the fun thing about playing music is that, there are rules, but there are no rules. So, and for someone like Rob, who has the experience of like honing and songwriting and, all that kind of stuff, it was really fun to work with him on that because he would make something cool a whole lot better. And you're like, I would have never thought of that idea. It just wouldn't
So
happen.
What, how old were you when you started in music? When
I started in ninth grade-ish, so I was probably late 13, maybe early 14. I know
okay,
my first live backyard party at 14. Played a bunch of 60s cover songs in the backyard of my house.
but you and a bunch of friends put a band together or something?
We were jamming out, and my mom was having one of her backyard parties. She said, call the guys over and jam. We're like, okay. And I was sold on that from that day on,
That was
playing for people regardless.
that's wild, man. You're just that like off the cuff. You just play a garden party of your mom's for the most part, and now you're this accomplished musician.
To whatever extent, I don't know. But yes, I mean, my brother and I have been playing together and playing, for a long time, off and on with each other, other people, and it's just something that's it's still part of our blood. It's something we do, just part of who we are and what we do.
It's music gets in you, man, and you just you can't get away. I got a cliche radio question for you. I try to steer clear of most of the cliche questions,
Yeah.
but this one kind of I can't get around it, man. Where did the song Raven's Tears come from? And the reason I ask this is because it almost sounds like it's a letter to someone.
Well, the lyrics are Joe to his oldest son.
Okay.
That's it's a when we first wrote it years ago, which sounded much different than what it does now. Um, I mean, it's relatively the same, but I mean, it's a different vibe now. But it was about, he had his son, and a couple of years into being a father, and he wrote like this, amazing thing, which if you look at the lyrics, you're like, every parent would be saying that. So that's where that would come from, as far as the lyrical content of the song.
Well, then, okay, that's the lyrics, and then the music, man. You got the solo in there. I mean, that I love, like me just being an old guy, because I love to see what my bands can do, hear what my bands can do. And so much of that stuff has been pulled out of music. And I don't really know why. I don't know if it's because plays permitted stations or what the deal is, but yeah, that guitar work that is crazy awesome, that driving rhythm. It's like you guys are kind of nailing it right now. What are you hearing in the industry?
The last part again.
What are you hearing in the industry? What are people saying about you guys?
Well, that song specifically, I mean, a lot of people like Borrowed Time a lot. They had their own, it's like, bluesy rock thing, and it's modern, old sounding, but classic, but it's new and whatever. And same thing with Ravens. It's kind of like there's that thing going on where you have stuff that everybody loves from wherever it came from, whenever it was, but it's being modernized, and so it fits in today's stuff, whatever that means. And that's not like an intentional thing. It's just we're looking at, when I'm playing, I'm like, what makes sense for Joe's voice? What's the vibe? And as far as the performance goes on the recording and stuff, some of that stuff was just, again, Rob taking something and just, doing a little thing to it or whatever, and you go, oh shit, okay, there you go. And we've been rehearsing the songs as we're going to start playing out pretty, soon here, and it's fun to play them because we've played that song in some variation or another for a long, long time. I mean, if you were like the Google Ravens, Wolves of Tomorrow or whatever the hell, something like that, or whatever old bands, you'll find some footage of us playing some show of that song. It's faster, it's more heavier,
Okay.
whatever. But um, it's just that it's one of those things where, like, these songs have this element to them that are, I have to say, it's organic and innate. It's not like we contrive to write some, the infamous, sugar sugar thing, which is a running joke with songwriters forever. The non-band, to
Yeah.
get some money in my pocket. And Kirshner was a genius in that context. Not that he was not something else, but it was just that, and that's something that even goes on today. Now, I don't know if other bands are, we're going to write some Led Zeppelin riff, just because that's what's in right now. I don't know. I know that I love Jimmy Page's riffs. I love Jeff Beck Truth album stuff. I love the Black Crowes. You know, I listen to a lot of 70s rock blues stuff. I listen to a lot of jazz and funk and soul to get what's that horn part? And I,
Okay.
okay, that's a riff, man. Let's what can we do with that? You know, so I don't know if that helps with the overall concept of how any of these things came together, but um, I know that's in the process.
It totally does. I mean, when you think about it, listening back to some of the things I heard from you guys, that yeah, I can see you're like listening and pulling stuff from other eras, other genres, uh, other songs for the most part. I mean, it's it's kind of one of those deals where the building of a song has lessened over the years. It's like you were talking about, and I'm not going to call anybody out, but I have talked to a few artists on here that, yeah, they do exactly what you're saying. Like whatever is hot right now, they will try to like mimic that, or
Yeah, whatever.
and
I mean,
that's all good and fine. At the end of the day, you have to make some money somehow. And maybe if this is the way you're going to help your band out for a while and then be able to do your own thing later on down the line, I really don't see anything totally wrong with that. But also, like I told you a little while ago, I like to see what my bands can do. I like to see their natural raw talent. I'm not looking to go and see like a CD show.
right. I mean, it's funny because at rehearsal, we've got a bunch of killer, musicians jamming with us, and everybody's happy about it. Um, we got the foundation together of these songs and some other ones that will be coming out, and okay, and is there anything we can do with some of them? And we found out that there's a couple songs that we can have some fun with. We can do some things with them because there's certain things like, we've all known artists and bands who can take something they recorded. It's like this, and when they play it live, they take it to another place.
Yes.
Like an example would be just it's a total different genre, but Randy's solos live were expansions of what he did in the studio. There's a famous King Biscuit Flower Hour. They had two shows, right, that they put out, and if you listen to them, you'll hear him do something different, and I don't know, and then this one does something, and you're like, and they both work. Like it's really crazy to think that way. So there's also that. There's also like the Black Crowes jam, the Stones jam. There's Zeppelin. I mean, anytime I've ever played Led Zeppelin for any reason, I don't play the record. I do what they did live because that's what made Led Zeppelin anything was who are they? Well, they could do something live that most people can't even come close to.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, having grown up on all this jazz stuff, we knew we learned and grew up pretty quickly with the idea that these guys would go in the studio, totally genius, immaculate charts and yabba dabba do, and then when they play it live, all of a sudden you're hearing like them having space to go wherever the moment took them, and you're like, and
Yeah.
they pull it off because they're built, they have that ability to do that. So if there's wiggle room or you can have some fun with something that you put together, that's great. It's one of the things that we love to do.
It's I heard a long time ago somebody saying let the music breathe.
Right.
And that totally when you especially when you talk about jazz, because that's what it is, man. It's they're they may have the charts and it may be like set, but they're letting the music breathe and they're feeling it in the moment. And it's something to really, really, really see. And it really is.
Yeah.
What do you
But
see in the future for bad or for bad? What do you see in the future for Wolves of Tomorrow?
I don't know. All I can say is that what we keep, our balance with and focus on is just movement. We keep moving, whatever
Okay.
that is, forward and upward, whatever you want to call it. We just keep moving. Because that's just what, we know that we just gotta keep moving. Um, you know, and it, and in like someone might look at our stuff and go, oh, low numbers or whatever the terms are, because I know what people look for. And it's like, right, because we're nobodies, who knows who we are, right? We're not somebody that's established already and
Well,
whatever.
no,
Oh, oh my,
no, I have an issue with that. You're not nobodies, man.
I don't
You're
mean it. We're
you're
some, my point,
you're you're hot on the chart right now. You're at number 50, which
I,
for a
that's the
newer
thing.
band, that
That's
is
a very cool, I mean, we're all like, fuck yeah, um, but the balance of that is that we just got to keep moving, right? So yes, we're stoked for the movement. I mean, everything's jumped up for us percentage wise in ridiculous numbers of percentages, which is all we like. Okay, that's great. Let's keep doing that. However we do this, let's just keep moving. And it's like we're going to be, having some more tracks laid down to finish off the album, and we're going to play live and just be ready to go wherever it takes us. And that's kind of where we're at. Just being prepared to keep moving wherever it goes to. It's not that
okay.
I believe in it or don't feel certain things about it. It's just that I know the business and I know how it works out there. And, you know, when I would go look up, I would punch in like, I go to YouTube and go blues rock for 2023 or whatever year it was. Because I was just curious what was going on, and some video would come up from a band from 8 years ago that I never heard of that was, fucking great. And I go look them up and I go, okay, well, they did a run for a number of years and they did this, that, and the other. And then they stopped for whatever reasons. So I know that that happens a lot, more so than not. But the thing is, in the moment, we're like you said, watching that secondary rock market take us, embrace us in some level. Like, I'll take it. I'm grateful that you guys are like, I love this song. We're gonna fucking play the shit out of it, or whatever that is, right? That's beautiful. Do I want more of that? Well, of course. Sure. Do I want to go play in whatever city you say, hey, Detroit wants you to come out and rock? Let's go. You know, um, but I keep everything pretty level headed with that. And so the rest of us, I mean, we all have, aspirations, we'll be ready to go. If you call us to go, we're there, but we don't have any expectations,
Okay. All
you know,
right. I get it. No delusions of grandeur type
no
thing. And
entitlement, none of that. Oh, hey, it's just like, no, we're going to show up. And if you want us, we'll be ready for you. And we're
but
going to,
okay. All right. Well, I get that, man. You're hard workers.
yeah,
It's like you're gonna capitalize on what you have. And what 175 spins nationwide right now.
which is,
And
great considering that, a few weeks ago, right? Like, so I'm like, yeah, I mean, and that's something I look at like, okay, so if that keeps moving, that's a great thing, and if it turns them on to the other songs and they like, hey, I like this and I like that, whatever, all that kind of stuff. It's just movement, keep moving.
it's well, we're gonna keep spinning the hell out of you, man. You were talking a little while ago about getting out, playing some live shows, and that's what are we looking at for tours and live shows?
In what context? Just in general?
As far as you guys getting out, when people can see you live, where they can see you live, do you have like a plan in mind yet, or
Well,
are things in the works?
we have things in the works. We're working on doing a gig in December, to just, like, I don't know what you would call it, a grand opening or, hard opening or whatever, the funny jokes to show, hey, here we are, locally here in LA area. Because all of our people that know us and like us here are like, when are you playing? When are you playing? Okay. And we want to go do that. And as far as next year, we're just going to be ready to go for whatever we can get going. Like we're doing the footwork on all these different things and being prepared to go do whatever that might be.
Okay. All right. Well, you get things lined up. Tony, you are welcome to come back on and whatever you're going to be doing, let people know if you are going to be doing like a regional tour or something and you want people to know, you are completely welcome back, man. Website is wolvesoftomorrow.com. And you guys are on all the socials, aren't you?
Yes, there's a TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, not on X or Twitter or whatever it was. But yeah, YouTube, all that stuff is there. all the music's on all the platforms. You know, the standard stuff. I mean, I just uploaded another promo today for the new single coming out in the video. I just, you know, we keep just doing that thing that, you know, is part of the process now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like anything else, there's always things you just, okay, so you do this and throw it out there, and whatever happens, happens. And you try to navigate your way through the massive amount of music that's out there every day, every minute, you know.
What would you say is the best of those sites, the socials, to keep up with the band?
Well, okay, in that context, to keep up with this, I would say, you know, TikTok or Instagram probably is the best.
Okay.
If you want to listen to us, obviously, in whatever platform you listen to music on,
Yeah.
and obviously, you know, subscribing or being part of our YouTube channels, because, you know, we're all very, very pleased with the Homeless Country video, and, you know, we're going to continue doing things like that. So,
Yeah. You ruined my surprise, man. I was gonna
oh, I'm sorry,
no, that's it's all good, man.
misunderstood the memo. Shit.
Wolves of Tomorrow have a new single dropping today, and you will be hearing that in the show tonight. We're going to play it for you. It's called Homeless Country. It is a really, really good tune. But right now, it's going to be their second single. This is Raven's Tears. And that, well, we just have to shut up and let the people hear it, man. We've been pimping this song so long. People are probably sitting there like, just play the damn song.
Yeah, probably right. Enough of this. Let's hear the music, which I did.
These guys have talked too long. Okay, the band is Wolves of Tomorrow, and this is their tune, Raven's Tears. It's right here, right now on Real Rock Nights. Thanks a lot, Tony.
Yeah, thank you, man, very much.
Click for the latest video right here, right now. And don't forget to like and subscribe.